When someone jumps out at you and they scare you and your heart starts beating fast, that's what eviction is like. But that you never calm back down. That heart rate never slows back down, and you're terrified. And if I would have known, if somebody would have come knocked on my door and said, "Hey, here's some help," that would have meant everything to me. That would have meant everything to me. Assistance on your door, babe.
I'm Tara Atkins, and I am a tenant rights leader with Action Tulsa, and I'm also on the tenant advisory panel for the City of Tulsa Housing Solutions. A couple of years ago, I had an injury and needed surgery, so I couldn't work, and I was evicted from my home. And it took almost a year to be able to save up enough to be able to pay the larger security deposit and the first and last month's rent that is required. Usually by a high percentage of landlords once you are evicted in order to establish housing again. When the pandemic hit and I became unemployed, I became face-to-face with housing insecurity, and I could not get anybody to listen to me. I reached out for assistance. I reached out to city leaders, county leaders, to tell them what was happening out here to me and my coworkers and my friends, and I couldn't get anybody to listen to me. And it became so important to me that other people were able to be heard also, that I haven't left Action since. Me and my outreach team go to the different apartment units that have high eviction rates and get the word out that there's resources available that way. We've had tenants tell us that they turned in their CDC moratorium and the landlord shut up with a gun and told them to get out with their kids, and they had to leave right then and there and leave everything behind. Or a lot of retaliation for turning the moratorium in by taking their air conditioner away. So I see a lot of fear. I see a lot of pictures and stories of empty ice boxes, of not being able to buy diapers right now. We had a woman that had COVID, and she was discharged from the hospital, came home to find out that the property management had actually gone in and wiped out her entire apartment, and her belongings were in the dumpster and all over the parking lot or given to her neighbors. So she had corona, came home, and didn't have a home anymore. It's like, the only way I can describe it is when someone jumps out at you and they scare you and your heart starts beating fast. That's what eviction is like, but that you never calm back down. That heart rate never slows back down, and you're terrified. If somebody would have come knocked on my door and said, "Hey, here's some help," that would have meant everything to me. That would have meant everything to me. I mean, I've not always been the nicest person or done the best of things like I should, and so at first it was kind of like, I'm just trying to get into heaven kind of thing, you know, or I leave something behind, like some kind of legacy behind. But it's almost an obsession now, because just that fear, it's like you're screaming underwater but no one can hear you and there's no one coming. And I just think when I'm at these complexes, that's what's behind every door. And if I quit and don't go to that house, that's the one I should have reached out to, that's going to be in her car, or that's that kid that's going to be flunking that grade because he's got to move schools now, or he's going to be in that shelter tomorrow. Or I just know that if they had a little bit of knowledge or a little bit of relief, it changes everything. I mean, it changes everything.